Pretty exciting now. Going to pick up my panels. All the powder coating's done. All the laser etching of all the lettering and placards and all the labels are done as well. So pretty happy with the way they turned out. I can't tell you how much time and effort it's taken to get to this point. Up a lower switch panel. Obviously this is just temporary. Essentially this is going to be the layout for my switches. A few notes, I ended up making some changes before we cut everything out with the laser etching. I've got all my circuit breakers here, a main bus, and then it splits, and I got an avionics bus here, and I started wiring everything up. New copper bus bars all the way. You can see where the split bus is, and started just running the jumpers between the breakers and the switches before I populate everything. That way it's pretty easy to drop this in. This is the right side panel. That's what it's going to look like. And this is an auxiliary circuit breaker panel, which is going to be just in front of the co-pilot. I'm going to have a USB port right there, and then I'm going to put a RAM mount for an iPad here, so I'll be able to mount my little iPad mini and angle it over these bus bars that I made for that side, with some room to grow. So I'll have space for 3 extra circuit breakers on each bus. The throttle quadrant is a split panel. It's hard to see, but there is a seam. So I had to loosen all these cables. Now I'm just running through each one, trying to keep it clamped tight to keep that gap minimal and tighten all the engine controls down. There it is. Now I'm working on this other sub panel, trying to get the defrost knob back in. This mechanism is in pretty bad shape. It was totally roached out. It wouldn't operate. So I took it apart, cleaned it in solvent and re-oiled it, and now it's good as new. Works like butter. Let's put it in. Man, that thing operates nice. But this is the unit that's going in. There's going to be 2 of these CGR30s. I've got a few different control boxes that needed to be mounted. This is, I think they call it the EDC, engine data controller. So I have 3 harnesses that are going to route into that, and mounted that to the glove box. And I've got 2 more controllers or control boxes that are going to end up mounting to the bottom as well. That one is going to be for manifold pressure off the engine, and that's going to be that's going to go to a shunt, one of my amp readings. These harnesses still need to get routed to all the sensors on the engine. A couple other harnesses are going to get routed still. This is going to go for some of my annunciators and magnetos. You can see that says land light, taxi light. So if there's a switch in the on position, I'll have an indication on my screen. Switches and everything are in. Got all my main bus power routed and my avionics power routed. New avionics breaker switch. And underneath the panel, sorted out all the wiring. There we go. Before this, it was a textbook rat's nest. Like, no exaggeration. It looked nothing like this. So, come quite a ways. You can see there's my avionics switch, and I've got it teed out to 2 buses. I've got a bus going on that side of the panel for avionics and main bus. So 2 remote buses that are separate. A lot of time spent under here doing that, just trying to keep it organized so it's easy to work on in the future, and you know, less wiring, less mess. Ultimately, you know, makes it safer install. And got to finish up some of the wiring back there, work on the master switch wiring, work on the ignition wiring, close out the lower panel, start populating the upper instrument panel. I got to work on the glare shield a little bit. I got some strip lighting that needs to go under there. Plenty to do. Lots have been done already, and yeah, just keep plugging away. So. So here we are, everything's put back together. I think what I'm gonna do is hop in, see if I can get it to start up, taxi it around, maybe even get out on the runway and give it some power and pull back on the yoke a little bit. Who knows, maybe this thing will fly. Let's give it a shot.